Amazon's data centers are often described as invisible infrastructure, quiet buildings that power the internet, the cloud, and modern life itself. But for some communities, they don't feel invisible at all. In places like rural Oregon, massive server farms now sit next to family homes, farms, and private wells. And alongside their arrival, residents are raising an uncomfortable question. Are rising cancer rates and health problems connected to the environmental strain of these data centers place on local water systems? Here's what we know. Data centers use enormous amounts of groundwater for cooling. In regions already burdened by nitrate contamination from decades of agriculture, scientists have documented dangerously high nitrate levels in drinking water, in some cases several times above federal safety limits. Long-term exposure to elevated nitrates have been associated in multiple studies with increased risk of certain cancers and reproductive harm. What we don't yet have is a smoking gun. No peer-reviewed study has proven that Amazon data centers directly cause cancer. The evidence lies in a more uncomfortable space. Correlation, plausible mechanisms, and real communities reporting real illnesses, while regulators and corporations argue over responsibility. This episode isn't about panic or conspiracy. It's about power, infrastructure, and the human cost of a digital economy that rarely asks who absorbs the risk. As we unpack this, we'll separate documented risk from speculation, evidence from assertion, and ultimately try to answer a question we all want clarity on. Is our digital future costing us our health?
Welcome to the Retrospect podcast, a show where people come together from different walks of life and discuss a topic from their generation's perspective. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Stoney.
Hello.
And Jason.
Hello, everyone.
How's it going?
Oh, well, Christmas week.
Oh, yeah.
We in the
For
we
us,
are
yes.
in the we're in the last push. I've got to get one more little item,
Okay.
and that should be it for me. I just got to get everything kind of put together. The main thing is I've already wrapped the gifts for
Right.
Tracy. That's all.
Yeah.
That's under the tree.
Yeah.
But everybody else, I usually buy gift cards.
Right.
Yeah.
I've done the same sort of thing. There's a couple people I've gotten some nice gift cards for that I think they're going to appreciate. I got some nice bottles of whiskey for people, and I saved up a lot of my pennies for
We already have too much
Maya.
stuff.
So I got Maya a nice big present. So
Uh-oh.
yeah. So she's the one I spent all my dollars on, and
Well,
I think that's what it should be.
Well,
Everyone else has a reasonable
whatever
amount.
you feel is appropriate. Everybody's kind of got their own way of kind of doing Christmas. I know on Tracy's side of the family, they draw names.
Right.
So
This year,
I drew her brother.
nice.
Buying got something for him. And
My family's in a bit of a financial situation right now because of some business changes that are taking place. And so my mom was like, I don't think I can get all you boys stuff like I normally would do. And I was like, that's not a big deal. So now I kind of picked up that torch. So now I kind of bought things for everyone. So that way everyone has at least something to open on Christmas Day whenever they're all here.
Mm-hmm.
We're all hanging out. So, and then of course Maya gets special preference in my personal opinion, but so
As well, she should.
right. But yeah, so
well, I'm spending a lot of money, and I'm fixing to spend a lot of money.
oh, of course,
And it's, it's just crazy how fast
yeah,
it goes.
That number ticks up.
And, right now we're dealing with our honeymoon issue right now.
Oh, there's an issue?
Well, it's, American Airlines decided to make a change on our flight
I think you mentioned
plans.
this. Yeah.
And they have canceled our last leg of our flight from Charlotte back home.
Yeah.
And they didn't really tell us about it, and they've just kind of like left us on our own to kind of figure this out. And so we've been I spent yesterday, Tracy and I, just trying to figure out what we're going to do here. Contacting the resort, see if we can change days. Maybe match, get something. So I think we're going to make a final decision tonight, and then either we're going to just push the days of the honeymoon a day forward and then stay a day later.
Okay.
Or we're just going to cancel this flight and probably book with Delta.
I love Delta.
So that's kind of where we're at right now with that. But it's just kind of trying to get everything up.
I just want to say we're not sponsored by Delta.
No, we're not.
We're not. But
if you want to,
every time,
you're
right? Every time I've ever had a problem with other flights, Delta has always fixed the problem for me and given me free stuff for it. And
I have airline miles through Delta. I mean, I've got airline miles through Southwest also, but I don't. The problem with Southwest, it only flies out of one airport, and it kind of limits you on what you can do and all that. So but I do have the miles to actually cover this flight. But
there you go.
I'm kind of worried about this issue down in Venezuela right now with the potential war that might be starting down there.
Gosh.
I'm wondering if they're going to shut down all commercial flights going into Aruba.
It's funny you said that, and I know we're going to be talking about data centers now, but I have really wanted to go back to work.
Okay.
I have worked all my life, and I really wish I could go back to work right now.
Yeah.
Did you see what was announced today on the news?
No, what's that?
No, what's that?
That the U.S. government will be offering letters of marque.
Letters of marque?
Yes.
What
please. Ian, you are our great question guy. The federal government will now be issuing letters of marque. War may not be necessary. Since I cannot be Blackbeard, I would be Graybeard.
Okay. It says that a letter of marque or reprisal, or marque and reprisal, whatever it is a historical government license authorizing private citizens to arm their ships and attack, capture, or destroy enemy vessels and seize their cargo during wartime, essentially legalizing privateering for profit and national gain, differentiating them from pirates by their official commission. These commissions allow individuals to act as auxiliary naval forces.
Oh my God!
They're going to legalize piracy,
keeping a share of the spoils.
Are we back during like Queen Elizabeth era when they were the Queen was tacitly allowing her privateers to raid Spanish galleons coming from the New World?
It says keeping a share of the spoils while officially acting under state authority against a declared enemy.
So instead of America attacking all these drug ships, the citizens can do it
and get paid for it.
Or keep spoils from their. That's great.
Unbelievable.
So is this like is this your
Graybeard?
Graybeard.
Okay, I would let I can't be Blackbeard anymore, but I would be Graybeard.
I was going to say, is this your what do you call it? Your application? Is this are you submitting an application?
No, because I can't work no more, and I'd be crappy on a boat.
Wow.
Fall off more than I'd do any good. But
it's okay.
Can you imagine that?
That's fun. That's wild too. That they still would be able to do something like that. But I guess.
Well, we started this country on tariffs.
Oh, yep.
We had letters of marque back then against the British, and everybody, hey, let's do it again. Let's bring back the tariffs and let's bring back the letters of marque.
Wow, that's fun.
Yeah, the longer you hang around, things just come circle right back to the way things used to be. It's amazing how
history repeats itself.
But But yeah,
that would be the true. Well, what had happened was
right. Yeah,
well, we're living in interesting times.
definitely.
Well, I brought this topic up because I thought it was pretty interesting, simply because of the amount of these centers that are popping up around the country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we, even in our own state, they're going to be constructing these. I don't know if y'all saw in the news. I believe in the northern part of the state, one's being built, and I think someone further south, near the Baton Rouge area, I believe there's going to be one north that's being built. So I thought it was kind of caught me when I saw this article and about these potentially health issues that some of the areas are experiencing where these items are, these places. And my understanding, they are very power hungry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they require a lot of water to cool them. And of course, what's driving all this? It's the AI.
Yeah.
The AI war. I mean,
that's all it is. It's all for AI. That's what it is about everything.
We are in a Cold War now with China over AI. And a matter of fact, I was listening to an interview today regarding that. And they say right now China is winning the AI war, and how future wars are going to look. And it's going to be robots and drones, and who's got the best drones, and who can do more with that is kind of the future. So whoever kind of gets ahead in the AI race is going to be the new winner. Versus like in the old days was with nukes, when the United States and Soviet Union were going back and forth, and I got 20,000, you got 30,000, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, flexing on the other one.
Well, you have to think about it like this. What are they doing? They are going to be one AI cluster can do a quintillion operations per second. That's 10 to the 18th. That is in 1 second. That is more than all of the power available to NASA during the entire Apollo program. And every desktop computer on Earth combined in the 1990s.
Yikes.
Think about, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking trillions of quintillions every minute, every half minute, every, wow.
Mm-hmm. Is the data centers so these are specifically for Amazon? I didn't realize that Amazon.
Oh yeah.
I knew that they were doing. I don't know. I know that what do they need the data for? Do they say that, or is that?
I mean, they use the power. You're like, what are they for?
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's just cloud computing.
It's running math. Think about it like this. What was the movie? War Games.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and there was a computer that was AI that had to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's their ultimate goal, is to get it to learn and become conscious, because we think in those type of situations. That's how fast we think. And what they want to do is get a computer fast enough to do it for us and learn.
Well, right now, I'm going to just let people know. I mean, what's going on? Amazon is huge investments right now. They're fixing to build their biggest one in Indiana, $15 billion.
Wow.
North Carolina, $10 billion. Mississippi, $3 billion. I just saw Louisiana. That's going to be, I think, in the realm of $10 billion.
Wow.
These things are. I mean, this is the new. I mean, this is the new thing now, and everything is just. We're driving in this direction, and these are the warnings that certain people have made regarding AI, but you have to have it because other countries are doing it, which I knew was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Once you let the genie out of the bottle, I mean, it's too late. You can't put it back in, because if another country can get an advantage on you, then you're going to have to do this. I mean, I don't know how else to get around it.
Right.
And unfortunately, they come with some consequences. It seems with what I've been reading with these nitrites, that's really going on with this. So I don't know how you're going to kind of manage both at the same time. Yeah. I don't know, guys. I mean, this is a matter of fact, I've got some stuff here that I pulled up. They said right now in Oregon, where a lot of this kind of ground zero, they said there are some studies associated with nitrates. And they say some cohort studies with measurable associations. In a Danish population level study of 2.7 million adults with over 2 decades of follow-up, researchers saw that people exposed to higher nitrate levels in drinking water, but still often below U.S. standards, had about a 16% higher risk of colorectal cancer compared to those with lower exposure. That's a hazard ratio of 1.16 for the highest versus lowest nitrate category. They said another U.S. cohort found that detection of nitrate in drinking water was associated with a 73% higher cancer mortality rate and a 69% increase in cancer mortality rate per tenfold increase in nitrate levels, even when levels were below EPA legal limits.
And this is coming from the same people who said there's not enough water to go around.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, tell you, the people in Oregon, they got some groups fighting this right now. I think that's kind of unfortunate. And what I worry about is the area where they're building this center that's north of Baton Rouge. We're already dealing with, from what I've read in Baton Rouge, dealing with the drinking water.
Well, they're just going to pull the water off of the Mississippi. They're not going to go for our drinking water. They're going to pull it off the Mississippi, pump it back into the Mississippi hot, which is what they were worried about with the nuclear power plant in St. Francisville, pulling off hot water, or pulling off cold water and putting hot back in. What does that do to algae and everything else? Yeah. Now, what are we going to do with 2 of those facilities?
Well, they're going to, I'm hearing that a lot of those plants, though, are pulling groundwater. That's right. The
one in Baton Rouge, I believe they're looking at just taking it out of the Mississippi.
Well, they want them to take it out of the river because the problem is what's happening is, at least from the stuff I've read, that what's happening is because the intake of groundwater, it's lowering that water table, and you're getting saltwater intrusion.
Yes, that's what's happening.
Which is going to prompt. It's going to prompt that community to eventually have to pull water out of the Mississippi River to drink. And I'm telling you, you don't want to do that because I've had water pulled out of rivers that they use for their drinking water, and it's not the same. It's just not.
I want to give everybody kind of an example of what a single stack rack on a data center would be.
Yeah.
And that's going to hold between 8 and 64 GPUs. So the data center will have tens of thousands of GPUs. That's like having a whole football stadium full of calculators that are rocket engines. How much power is that going to be? How much power are they going to take? Now, they're thinking about doing this in California. Oh, they don't have enough power to power their electric vehicles, but now they want to put these data centers and pull it more. They want to put one in Nevada. They want to put some in Louisiana, where we're already having problems with power. They want to put them in all these states that are having problems with power. Why? See, I think that's intentional.
Yeah.
I
think that's intentional, and I'd like to know what the answer to that is.
Well, if it's anything, I tell you how much power, just I know kind of on a very, very small scale in my computer, I have the most powerful, consumer GPU in it, and I know how much power it just takes. I can only imagine.
You have one GPU.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Just the idea of how much wattage it takes to do that. So I can imagine when you're stacking thousands of them together.
Okay, well, I'm going to put it to y'all in perspective that we can understand. 50 million watt data center is going to use 4% of New Orleans peak power. So whatever New Orleans uses at its peak, that would take 4%. 150 data center would take 12%, and a 300 would take 25% of New Orleans peak power.
Yeah. Well,
okay, I mean, come on.
I'm gonna tell you, when it gets hot and people are cranking up them ACs,
and they are considering a 2,500 monster in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
I have a feeling you're going to start dealing with brownouts.
That would be 2 times New Orleans peak power.
But there's got to be.
They got to build another power plant, and I think that was one of the issues.
Yeah, but who's going to do that? See, the taxpayers are going to have to pay that and put that in so that, so we can bring the data center to us. Screw the data center. How about we take care of the Louisiana people first? Because we don't need to give away our power. We don't need to give away our water. It does not benefit Louisiana to have a data center here.
No, because they really don't. They really don't do. There's not like there's a lot of people attached to them. I mean, you got a handful of people that monitor them, but they're not huge job creators. Now, there could be some spinoffs from it. I don't know. And maybe as time goes on, other industries, form that service these kind of centers. But, I mean, who knows?
It looks like, I looked it up, and it was saying that Amazon data centers do a bunch of different things. It delivers cloud services like streaming, AI, apps, and online shopping by storing and processing data for individuals and businesses worldwide. So, this is where my mind goes. If you want, if you don't, I don't know. I just feel like you should get away from Amazon altogether. I got away from Amazon a long time ago. My life has been great. And I feel like the more and more I'm seeing these Amazon trucks around here, I'm like, man, I don't like this. I don't like that Amazon is taking over everything, and it's things like this. Like, we're going to get a data center probably in our state, or it sounds like numerous ones, and it's only going to get worse.
2 of them.
If you're going to keep using Amazon,
I think Meta is doing the other one in North Louisiana. I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. I want to get away from all of it.
Well, as long as people want to consume, then I think you have what you have, because no one wants to physically go to stores anymore because everybody's terrified of something happening to them when they go out. So I had to say it, but these entities are filling the void.
I get it, but I don't know. Still doesn't make it right, I feel like.
Yeah,
I do shop online every now and then, but I go like to places directly. I try to buy things on Amazon because it's all just. I don't like it.
I mean, they make it convenient.
I know, but that's the thing is I don't know.
Well, right now I'm looking to hear some more of these studies regarding the health issues on some of this stuff. They said in Morrow County. They say drinking water isn't regulated the way city water is. He says these are people that draw their water from wells. So this is more in the rural areas. He says Oregon Health and Planning data from recent sampling shows over 1,800 domestic wells tested in Morrow plus neighboring Umatilla counties. Of those, nearly 22% of wells had nitrate levels above EPA's safe drinking limit of 10 milligrams per liter. In Morrow County specifically, about 1/3 of the wells tested high, meaning residents are consuming water that exceeds safety standards. Some wells were measured above 25 milligrams per liter, and earlier localized testing found individual wells with nitrate concentrations of over 50, 5 times the federal limit. So, they say federal agencies like the EPA set 10 as the safe maximum for nitrate in drinking water. Above that, I'm trying to say this word. I've tried to practice it and I still can't say it. epidemiological research and health agency reviews connect chronic exposure to increased risk of stomach and bladder cancers, thyroid dysfunction, and other issues when ingested over years.
Wow.
They say the same contaminants were also linked to adverse reproductive outcomes, including miscarriages. They said that the U.S. National Cancer Institute and other public health bodies note that nitrate itself isn't a direct toxin at low levels, but over decades of consumption above the thresholds like the 10 milligrams per liter, the formation of cancer-promoting compounds in the body in nitroso compounds is a documented concern. They said independent meta-analysis find associations with some gastrointestinal cancers in populations with long-term exposure.
That's interesting.
So, I don't, as I said, kind of in the opening, there's no published peer-reviewed,
right?
On this. So,
this is one of those situations.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is one of those situations where we're not gonna. They're just pile driving through it, and then we will find out the terrible stuff afterwards.
Exactly.
That's retroactively,
Yeah, I mean, then you'll try to regulate it and whatever.
I did find one interesting number here. What would the daily water use be? 1.5 to 3.5 million gallons per day to an annual of 550 million to 1.3 billion gallons.
Wow.
That's enough water for 8,000 to 20,000 households, which will just often drawn from municipal or aquifer sources.
Yeah.
To me, I know the ones that are going to here, they better use the river and not try to pull from the ground. Because,
but then what would be the negatives of pulling it from the river?
Well, I mean, the reality is really no other, but you shouldn't be pulling it from the ground.
No, I 100% agree.
Right.
But,
I mean,
okay, just because that's the answer doesn't necessarily mean we should do that.
It doesn't fix the problem. I mean, it's just like anything. The problem is these data centers, based upon this, it's not, they're kind of already exacerbating a problem that exists with agricultural runoff from fertilizers for just umpteen million years. And you can imagine the Mississippi River is probably full of it because of all of that being drained in from the Ohio River and all that.
Yeah.
All that farmland, it all drains into the Mississippi River. So you're just adding to it. And I think that's what's jacking up the levels. That's kind of what's going on in Oregon right now. It's you already have high nitrate levels because of runoff with fertilizers from agriculture. Now you're adding this, and it's jacking those levels up to a point that's causing these concerns now.
So do we know how the data centers are processing nitrate into the water? Do they say that? Like, I'm curious as to how that. Or like what is it just them cooling it that's doing that? Is it processing?
It's I think I had it.
That's okay.
In here that what the actual process is of what's causing this rise in the nitrates. It's the way the water is used, it evaporates quite rapidly.
Yeah.
And what's left behind are these nitrates.
Well, they have to put these chemical additives in the water.
Oh, okay.
There's chemical additives in the water. They do that at Riverbend, and now they're going to have to do that here. They're going to put biocides, anti-scaling agents. They're going to have to put corrosion inhibitors in it. They're going to have to put all kind of these things in here. They're going to have to put things to stop the plankton. They're going to have to, because you don't want, there's just so much that's going to go into it. And so it's going to come back 5 to 15 degrees higher on the other end. So, and to me, that's significant because that's going to kill your fish.
Yeah.
We are a seafood industry in Louisiana. We're at the very bottom, basically, close to the bottom of the Mississippi. That water's not going to cool off by the time it gets to the Gulf of Mexico. So how is that going to affect our fishing and our shrimping and our crabbing and everything else that we love in Louisiana? How is that going to affect that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the big report here is I'm reading a report here in Rolling Stone. Now, there's been some criticism that they've kind of exaggerated the nitrate issue, and I'm not saying that's not true. I mean, as I said, there is no direct evidence that this stuff is causing that, but if anything, it's adding to already an existing problem that you're still trying to figure out how to deal with, and I don't really know how to, how do you mitigate this? I mean,
well, we don't know how to mitigate this because we don't know what the decade-long damage or two-decade-long damage is going to be. Then there's no way to even consider that. I mean, what? Where you're going to use AI to come up with the model to figure out what the long-term damage is going to be? Okay, we're going to need the data center to figure out what the damage is going to be.
Well, they say the aquifer underneath Morrow County, known as the Lower Umatilla Basin, is the only source of water for as many as 45,000 residents. So that's where all these people are getting their water from. And they say many of these people rely on private wells that draw upon that basin. They say since 1991, the regulators at the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality have been collecting samples and have shown a slow and steady increase in chemical toxins in the water, which, as I said, goes back to all this agricultural runoff and stuff like that. I don't think there's really we have fertilizers because we want to try to increase the food yield, but the fertilizers are contaminating the water. And I just, you do one thing and you got problems here and it's just.
Well, but you see, to me, and I hate to be the conspiracy theorist person on the show, but the same people that are pushing this are the same people that want to depopulate the planet. Okay, so I have a list of 52 things that has been said since the 1960s that are promises of what global warming and all this stuff is going to do. And none of it is real. So we're going to do our global warming on purpose?
Yep.
Okay, so you can, if you just have a sustained 2 to 3 degree increase, you reduce the dissolved oxygen by 5 to 10%, you stress all your fish out, and then your shift goes to species dominant, favoring evasive and heat tolerant species. We are doing this to ourselves. Okay, we couldn't just let enough alone and prove the climate people wrong and stupid. So now we're going to allow them, the very same people that want to depopulate the planet and are causing us to be sick, we're going to allow them to come in here and put this crap in our backyard and heat the planet up. Since it's been proven that what we're doing isn't doing it, we're going to let them come in and do it now on purpose.
Right.
Okay, because what have they been bitching since the 60s? 2 degrees is enough. It'll melt all of the ice. And so we're going to let them come in and we're going to start. How many of these are they talking about putting up? 15, 20 of these across America?
They're going to be putting a lot of them, I think, because,
okay, all you have to do
we gotta say, we're building Skynet.
Go drive by Exxon refinery when a storm starts. There's so much heat coming off, and this is not a slam against Exxon. This is just a fact of life. You can actually watch the clouds part coming up to Exxon sometimes because there's so much heat rising from the plant that it'll part the clouds. And now we want to do this? And I'm not trying to sound like, I'm anti-data center. I am anti-data center because I don't think we need this much processing power. I think this is another form of control. But
well, then what do you do then?
What do I do? I don't have them now, and I'm doing just fine.
It's not that what you or I have. The question is if other countries that are hostile to the United States become the dominant powers when it comes to AI and the advantages that gives them, how does that affect us?
So I want to make our kids sick. I want to kill our people and destroy our land because I'm scared somebody else is going to do it. There's other options.
Yeah, I get it. I don't think there's one easy answer to this because, we can say we're not building them and, okay, we just cede that to China, because I'm going to tell you, they're throwing them up a dime a dozen, and they don't have to worry about permits and anything like that.
That's
They
right.
build
They
one,
don't.
and they build a power plant right next to it.
You
know, so I don't know what the answer is, but I really don't. We're being forced into this in this war, this Cold War.
Ian said it the best. Ian has been against this from the beginning, and now we're getting ready to see the true negatives of AI.
Right.
Because this is real. You were talking about killing off everything.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to sound like I'm crazy or nothing, but think about just the statistics of going up 2 to 3 to 15 degrees 30 times across America.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you're going to take the water away from the people that need it. What is California right now? The Hoover Dam in Nevada is almost dry.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're having to use all of that to send power to California.
Yep.
And now you're going to have all the oil and gasoline shortages in California because I think the third and fourth companies have decided to leave California.
Right.
So they're estimating a minimum of $12 a gallon for gasoline.
Yep. Yeah. And I hate to be that guy, but I'll say it.
Be it.
You just said Amazon makes it awfully convenient. And people would probably, I think more often than not, yes, they want clean drinking water. Yes, they want probably the environment to be okay. But more than anything else, they want their convenience.
They want their convenience.
They want to be able to click a button and something to magically appear on their doorstep within 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. And people would pay with their lives for that than to fight for clean drinking water.
You know what it sounds like to me? We're fixing to pay with our lives for something we don't want.
Right. And people will go all the way probably to the grave being like, no, but I got to have my Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, you don't. You don't have to have that.
It goes back to the changes in human behavior.
Right.
And how we have become, I don't want to leave my house.
Yep.
I don't want to go to a mall. I don't want to be around people. All the things that we did, as I remember as a kid growing up, that world doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Yes, there's shopping, but all I hear about is I don't want to get out because I'm afraid of crime and I'm going to get shot or I don't do this or I don't do that. It's just like because we're terrified, so we want it where I don't have to fight traffic. I don't have to deal with all that stuff. I understand all that. But that's the world we live in now. And unless something radically changes, which I don't see happening anytime soon, we're locked into this paradigm that we're in right now, and it's just going to keep going.
You have established a very comfortable and frictionless life for yourself where you don't have to. That's the thing, is that now you have at every step of the way you have made it easier for yourself to not go out, to not do those things, to not have any kind of uncomfortability in your life at all. When sometimes it's okay, have a little friction, have a little bit of, I don't know, that's just me. Obviously if you live in a place that you're scared for your life, I understand that. That's probably different, but I don't know.
You need to read this Rolling Stone article. It's called "The President is Flint: How Oregon's Data Center Boom is Supercharging a Water Crisis." And it really just goes into this guy who at first he wanted these things and it was economic development. I get it.
Yeah,
you're trying to provide jobs. You're trying to do all these things, and unfortunately it comes with a price. And he mentions here, it says water hadn't been really been a political priority for Doherty. So he's a Republican and he focused most on economic development and transportation projects until a couple of years into second term, when the uptick of stories he heard about young women enduring miscarriages and middle-aged men with organ failure started making him uneasy.
Yep.
And they said the excess consumption of even small amount of nitrates can do significant harm to the human body. So this is what I kind of mentioned earlier about some of these health statistics. But it's like anything. He goes, it never occurred to Doherty that his effort to fix the water problem would provoke the ire of a group of local officials who resented scrutiny of their role in the pollution. Sounds familiar. I know in this state, we dealt with back in the 70s, dealing with illegal dumping and politicians turning a blind eye and allowing other states to come dump their hazardous waste in our state on a regular basis because they're getting paid off to do so. It's terrible. Oh, yeah. It's the amount of stuff that we've allowed to be dumped into our environment and because certain people were getting paid off to do it, and you go into these communities that are poor, they have no infrastructure. You have a company that comes in that they're going to give you some tax dollars. Who wouldn't jump on that? I mean, if you're an elected official, you're trying to figure out how can I get this county, or in cases of Louisiana, a parish, economic development. How can I get businesses in here? Right. How can I raise the tax revenue? What else do you do? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
But you're not going to tax the data. Oh, are they now?
I don't know.
Oh, great.
Maybe.
Let's tax data. Let's tax everything you do. Because what are the top benefits of having a data center in your area? You're going to make more taxes. Oh, they're going to pay for your schools. They're going to pay for your police departments. Really? How? What benefit are they bringing? Oh, as far as I can see, it's all control. Faster banking. Really? Me driving to the bank and getting out of my car and going into the bank and waiting behind 3 people in the teller line, then getting to the cashier, having to sign my check or do whatever I'm doing, and then leave. How is that going to help me faster? Is it going to make it go into my bank account any faster? No, it's not. Is it going to help me get it out faster? No, it's not. But they're going to be able to control faster what I put in and take out. Oh, GPS. It's going to help you with your GPS. Really? GPS is satellites. Got nothing to do with a data center. Okay, what's that going to help? Telemedicine. Oh, great. Me going to my doctor. Now we're going to make all the phone calls to your doctor so we can monitor, and the insurance companies can now buy the information that's on AI and decline you because now it'll be faster to go before the death boards.
Yep.
Okay, see, we're not really emergency services. So now we're going to put all the 911 out of business because now you're just going to need AI.
No.
Well, that's what they're saying. The result of having this in your area, faster banking, streaming, GPS, telemedicine, and emergency services. That's the top 5 things it can think of that's going to benefit Baton Rouge by having it in our area. I don't know nothing.
I don't know where that's coming from, because if it's an Amazon data center, it's gonna be all Amazon specific stuff. I don't think it's gonna be anything to do with GPS or banking. But I mean, I could be wrong. But if it's an Amazon data center, then it's gonna be all streaming service. It's gonna be a bunch of personal profiles, wish lists, all that kind of stuff. All the different, it's all just data from Amazon.
Yeah.
All your personal credit card information is gonna be stored there, probably.
Yeah, so Amazon opened Morrow County's first hyperscale data center in 2011. It was nearly 10,000 square feet of warehouse space filled with rows of computer servers. And it hosted its most profitable division, its cloud computing platform, Amazon Web Services. So they said Amazon has generated commercial taxes for the county worth more than $100 million over the course of a decade.
Tell me how.
I guess they tax on
certain know.
How that works. I guess
they tax on the power that they use. Maybe?
Right. They do something. They said eager to compete with other rural communities looking to host data center campuses, local officials offered Amazon a 15-year tax abatement for each hyperscale data center it built, which would be worth billions to the company. They said Amazon has since constructed 7 such facilities in the area, with agreements for 5 more underway. They said there was a good reason Amazon had set itself up in places like Morrow County. With $107 billion in cloud computing sales in 2024, Amazon Web Services has dominant position with 30% of the market. So, but they have some stiff opposition from other groups. Like,
and I wonder as well, like what Amazon, what Meta, like has on your personal profile is probably stored on that data center. So, like again, your algorithms, what you like, all the ad stuff. Obviously your data is sold online. That you get catered ads for you. That happens already. So I wouldn't be surprised if
I think
they share that information with the government as well.
So I got curious.
Okay.
How is a data center taxed? Data centers are property tax.
There you go.
Really? One time? That's going to do us a lot of good. Land, buildings, servers, racks, cooling systems, generators, often classified as business personal property. Okay, really? So that's the big deal. You're going to come in and you're going to destroy our land, and then we're going to tax you because you own some property? But then we're going to defer that because we want you to come in, because now we're not going to make taxes off of the very things that we can tax you on.
I know the one that's being built just north of Baton Rouge. I believe it's kind of what happened when they brought in River Bend, the nuclear plant up there. It was at the time when it was built, it was like a 10-year tax deferment. So in essence, they had 10 years to operate without being taxed. Now they're being taxed, and the parish up there is collecting quite a bit. So this is now going to add to that. So it's probably going to be a similar type of situation.
But here's what we're saying. Okay, servers, networking gear, and generators are all taxable. Okay, when they go out and purchase them, right? Okay, so they go purchase them and tax them somewhere and don't pay taxes somewhere else. Then we're going to give them a deferment. So the exemptions can cover hundreds of millions of dollars of taxable hardware because we give them. So we're actually cutting our nose off to spite our face just to get them here so that we can not tax them on stuff and they can destroy our land, people, and property.
I've also seen here that they're also earning taxes on utilities such as electricity, so they earn taxes.
But we just had to spend $4.2 billion to build them the fucking plant. But how is that going to help us?
Also, and this is what is going back to what I said before, income taxes. They also get taxed on the data centers, like collection of data at federal, state, and local levels.
Yep.
So again, this is what I was saying before. All of your data is being collected whenever you peruse online, whenever you shop, all your algorithms, all the stuff, and all that data is being sold to advertisers. And that money is obviously going to Amazon, going to Meta, going to whoever has your data. And of course, in that transaction, somehow the government also gets taxes on that as well.
I mean, the big four: Amazon, Google, Meta, and Microsoft.
Oh yeah.
Well, I hate to tell y'all, the S&P predicts that demand for new construction is expected to double by 2030. Most of it in rural counties like Morrow that are otherwise reliant on agriculture. That's where these places set up. There's really nothing else in that county that is there other than farmland.
Yeah.
That's it. They said a recent Goldman Sachs analysis found AI technology could unlock as much as $5 trillion to $19 trillion for the American economy.
How?
Wow.
No. See, this is stupid stuff people are putting out there.
Your data is valuable. They spend a lot of money on your data.
But that doesn't benefit us. I know data is valuable. That has been the way since the very first commercials with what was that? What was the thing they used to send you? Okay, you had 3 channels to watch, and they would send you something in the mail, and you would write down or check off what was that report? The early TV. Oh crap! Shoot. You filled out something, and it told the advertisers what you were watching. There's a name for it. It came in the mail. And that's all it is. They're selling information. It's not benefiting us anyway.
No, but that's what I'm saying. All that revenue is not going to people like us. It's all going to shareholders, to to companies.
People have stocks in these companies.
That's right.
So if you have stocks in these companies, hey, I'm gonna get a bigger dividend check. You know, But they say data centers, they say the volume of water needed to cool servers, most of which need to be kept at 70 to 80 degrees to run effectively, have become a nationwide water resource issue, particularly in areas facing water scarcity across the West. They say Bloomberg News analysis found that roughly 2/3 of new data centers built or in development since 2022 are in places already gripped by high levels of water stress. Droughts have plagued Morrow County, occurring annually since 2020. Earlier this year, the International Energy Agency reported that data centers could consume 1,200 billion liters of water by 2030 worldwide.
Crazy.
Nearly double the 560 billion liters of water they use currently.
Excuse me. It was called the Nielsen TV Ratings Diary.
Okay. Never heard of it. That's interesting.
It was mailed to you?
Yeah.
Or I think some newspapers even put it out there, and then you mailed it in. And they took that information and used it for their advertisers.
Wow.
So that's been going on since early radio and TV. It's just, now they want to be able to control it and make a profit off of it even more.
Yep. Now if you hover over the checkout button for just long enough, they're like, oh, we'll send you information on that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you like that, don't you? You like these kind of things.
Well, now they can do it with what you're looking at. Mm-hmm. They have the little retina scanners on some of the computers and laptops and stuff that watch what you're looking at, and your phone too.
Yep.
A lot of people don't realize this retina stuff on your phone, when you can move the pages and everything else with your phone, they're watching how long you're looking at anything, and that information is sold.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, this is. I feel we are in the beginning stages of their building out
Skynet.
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
not to be cliche, but I think we're starting to build the infrastructure that's going to change the world. I really do. We talk about the fourth turning and how we're kind of going through these convulsions. I think we're now getting to that point. I mean, I believe in an episode, 1 or 2 episodes back, we talked about the computer game and the computer predicted the end of the world, and they say the seeds of that we would see would be in the 2020s, and I believe that we'll start to see a lot of changes in the 2040s. I think that's when it's really going to hit. But yeah, I mean, it's that is the future. I mean, nothing's going to change that. Governments, especially poor governments and local governments, are going to pursue these things with a vengeance. Because if I can get some tax revenue into our parish that we can build roads, that we can do all the infrastructure things that we can't do now, then I think it's going to happen. I just do. I mean, I wish there was a way that we could develop our economy, but yet be environmentally neutral. I don't know how to do that. I don't know if we even have the tech to do that. Well, the
bottom line to it is they're not going to. They don't care about watching us.
No.
The Nielsen report, that was very simple. What do people watch? Data centers, with their computing power, are not going to care what you're doing right now. They want to predict what you're going to do next. And they're going to do that across the board. What are you going to do next? What was that movie where they predicted whether you were going to be Minority Report, whether you were going to commit a crime?
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what this is to me. This is the early stages of Skynet / Minority Report.
Yeah.
Oh, you were going to commit a crime next week. You're going to jail.
Well, they talk about this, $5 to $19 trillion in additional revenue. So be very curious how all this kind of, how all this works out. But they said this area around in Oregon, say in 1992, DEQ measured an average nitrate concentration of 9.2 parts per million. across a cluster of wells pulling from the basin. By 2015, that average had risen to 46% to 15.3 parts per million. And then for some wells, DEQ found nitrate levels nearly as high as 73 parts per million, more than 10 times the state limit of 7. And it kind of goes into how this process works, of how they pull water. I mean, it's a really good article.
Yeah.
Of what, how this is happening. Yeah. I mean, it's, I encourage people to read this Rolling Stones article. And of course, it's got its detractors. And I'm not saying they have kind of exacerbated and exaggerated some things. It's all in how you read data.
Yeah.
As I said, there's no clear scientific evidence that these things are cause that, but I'm kind of all this artificial stuff is not good.
No.
For us. It's just not.
I mean, think about it. Think about this now 15 years in the future. Okay? We've been living with these data centers and all of this stuff for 15 years. And 15 years and a day, they shut down. Or you can pay extra money to keep them going. Or whatever reason, a comet flies by the planet and magically shuts them all off. What is life going to be 15 years in the future and a day when they stop?
Right. What conveniences are you going to lose from that?
Past that, what about all your electronic records? What about all the property, records? Because we're not going to keep them in City Hall anymore. Now we're going to keep them in the data centers. Now your marriage certificate, now all of this information is gone. Now what do we do? Because we don't have a backup to the backup.
Yeah. Well, this is...
then all of a sudden, now you got, they're saying it's going to help your GPS and your cell phones. Really? How does a data center help my cell phone? So we're going to lose our cell phones. We're going to lose our computers. We're going to lose the internet because all of the internet's going to be tied into the local data center.
Yep.
So now what happens? Now we're back in the Middle Ages.
Maybe.
All credit card and cards transactions stop because it all got funneled through the data center. All your banking information, every dollar you own now is gone because it's not in your bank. It's in the data center.
Yeah.
Not to say, since we had all the air traffic control issues a couple weeks ago during the shutdown. Now what happens when AI is running traffic control? And we got nobody trained 15 years from now to be able to do air traffic control.
I don't know. I feel like there are some regulations in place to make sure that doesn't happen, but
not 15 years from now, though. It may not be there. And I agree with you. Today there is. Right. But how about 15 years from now?
Right.
When we're completely reliant on Blackstreet, Vanguard, or what's the name of it? Is it Blackstreet, Vanguard, and whatever the hell the other damn company is? Because they're the ones pushing this because they want control.
Yeah.
They want control of everything about us. And just for the record, I am not suicidal. If you hear that I have committed suicide, please contact any of what law enforcement friends I have left and let them know that I did not kill myself.
Right.
Think about what happened during COVID. Mm-hmm. Okay. Grocery stores are going to go empty, not necessarily from panic, but from the logistics failure of all of the self-driven trucks now that are being done by AI, and the data centers can't get to their stops that they're supposed to go to.
Right. They have something coming out in a lot of majors, like a lot of big cities called Waymo. And it's like,
I think I've heard of that. Refresh my memory.
It's just self-driving cars, but it's like an Uber service.
Okay. Yeah. That's it. That's it. Yep.
But the big thing is that it's all about convenience. You can call an Uber, but it's cheaper to call or to get a Waymo if you're at like the airport. There's already a station right there, and the car is right there. Mm-hmm. So you can just get yourself a Waymo and go.
It used to be you could just go out and get the taxi who was sitting there.
Right. So, anyways, that's a whole thing.
That's
now,
not good enough for us anymore.
A next level of convenience where you're just going to be putting yourself at risk in a self-driving car.
Well,
a self-driving taxi. sorry.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
I tell our local listeners to pay attention to these developments here in Louisiana with this same thing that unfortunately I think what's going on in Oregon, you're going to be hearing about that here. And, as I said, it's all touted as economic wins, and I can understand the allure that we're finally getting something that, we can kind of get some taxes off of to try to, improve, have a funded government that can actually build roads and do some of the things that residents want to have done. So, I highly recommend the
article.
This article to read, because it really gives a good breakdown of what's going on here, and this article can be probably drop it in any other community that these data centers exist. Who's the kind of the guy from Shark Tank that it really touts these centers? He's obviously a big investor into these. Was it Kevin O'Leary?
Yeah.
He's a big. I've heard him talk about data centers. He mentions that this is the up and coming thing. So when you have people like that are saying this is the up and coming thing, it's coming.
Yeah.
Because those kind of people are not putting their money in the stuff that's going away. This is something they're looking at over the next 25 years.
Right.
That are going. It makes sense because our society has increasingly become more integrated online, and everything is going to be powered online. Fast food. I mean, we've talked about it on this podcast on other issues when it's come to this topic of AI and the consequences of this. It's coming. How this is going to be managed. And in the case here, I think you just have to you have to stress that water has to be completely filtered out before it's put back.
Right.
And that's going to
cooled off.
That's going to require probably additional expense for the proper filters and stuff like that to be able to get the water clean enough to do it.
Yeah, but I got a question. Do we have any politicians left with enough balls to make that happen?
Probably.
Because right now in Louisiana, we sure don't.
No.
And I'll say it and don't give a shit.
Well, unfortunately, I think it's not just Louisiana. I think it's...
And hello, politicians, you heard me say it. Grow some balls.
I think, well, the problem is it's like these, elected...
It's time to do what's best for the American public and the citizens of Louisiana, not what's best necessarily for the pocketbook. We've already been poisoning our children as it is, and now we want to do it on a massive scale, not only with the poisons in the water, but now the poisons in the electronics,
right,
and their brain power and everything else. It's time that we started doing what was right for the American citizen.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this. I'm going to say it on the air. We used to pick on Ian. And Ian, I want to apologize to you on the air. We used to pick on you about getting kind of huffy about the AI thing. Yeah, right. You were right. I 100% agree with you. You were right. Here we go. The boomer is agreeing with the millennial. You were right. Because everything I learned more about these data centers, it's unbelievable to me that we are even considering this.
Scary stuff.
And I understand China's doing it, Russia's doing it, everybody's doing it. Right. But we need to do it smarter. Okay? I had a conversation with somebody today, actually on the phone, about what our purpose is. And our purpose is to love. If you start everything out with love, everything works itself out. If you start out putting the American citizen first, guess what? Everything else can work itself out because you put the American citizen first. That's what a constitutional republic is. This is not a democracy. This has never been a democracy. Stop saying it, libtards. And put the American citizen first in everything that you do, and all of this will work out. If you wake up every morning as a politician, you are not our leaders, you are our representatives, and you need to learn that. Put the American citizen first and get it figured out. If not, resign your position and let somebody else in who wants to do it.
Yeah.
Because this conversation is getting old. Not our conversation, guys, but the conversation about the politicians not doing.
If you want to end the episode, I get. No, I'm playing.
Well, I think I think unfortunately, it seems like I'm kind of still going through this article. This poor guy, him and the other person who was trying to, watch this stuff. Guess what happened? They got removed.
Of course,
really,
from public office.
Shocking.
Yeah.
If this happens, these big companies come in, they give money, they give money to schools, they do all this, and these poor areas gobble that up because they don't have anything, and you're always looking for something, and unfortunately, when it comes to that, it's we put our health second.
Yep,
we do,
especially when it comes to convenience.
It's I don't know, guys. This kind of, I'll be honest with you, before we even thought about this issue, I mean, I've been hearing about the economic, victories with these data centers being built. Now I'm a bit, I have to pause a little bit that.
Everything starts off sounding good. Everything starts off sounding like there's victories until you look at it 15, 20 years from now and what we've done to ourselves.
Yeah.
Hydrated oils were great when it first started. They were the greatest thing since sliced bread and peanut butter until the peanut butter turned into petroleum products, till the bread turned into petroleum products, and your jellies petroleum products.
Yeah.
It all sounds good at first until the, ultra elite decide they want us fat and slaves and not able to revolt.
Well, as I said, the more infrastructure we build to automate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you're going to start.
Skynet.
This is when you're going to start saying, okay, what, jobs are going to be now handled by machines. And as I'm saying, we're now building, in essence, we're building the interstate.
Yeah.
For
yes, we are.
The transformation of our society. And it's being built for one thing, but eventually it's going to get co-opted into something else.
And remember, this is being built by the very same people that want to depopulate the planet through vaccinations, through hunger, through whatever else you want, chemical poisons.
Yeah.
It's the same people.
Yeah. And with that being said.
Ruh-roh.
No. Yeah. We want to hear what you have to say.
Speaking of that being said, I was thinking about some chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe? Okay. Yeah. Just checking, throwing that out there.
You're right. I haven't had the time, but I think I will in the next week or so, hopefully. So I'll definitely
I want to throw something at y'all.
Okay.
Miranda and I had to get something from Walmart, and we did an episode on food the other day.
Yeah.
And when we put something in our refrigerator today, Miranda noticed something.
Uh-oh.
And it really caught her eye. And this is a product that she buys normally. It's the strawberry lemonade from Walmart.
Okay.
And it's a great value product.
Yeah.
They raised the price 8 cents.
Okay.
And they went from 59 to 52 ounces.
Really?
The whole carton is different.
Wow.
The whole carton is smaller.
A little smaller.
And that's what we were talking about in one of our last episodes.
Yeah.
Is that not crazy?
It is.
We noticed just right there, we were like, wow. She said, baby, come see this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? She said, you see a difference? I went, holy crap.
Yeah, it's smaller.
It's smaller and more expensive.
Yep. That's how they get you.
Isn't that crazy?
Exactly. All about profit margins.
Intentional. That's it.
Yeah,
Intentional.
Yeah.
Hoping you don't notice. But because Miranda's so bougie, we have to have 6 of them. We have to have 5 backups for my baby.
There you go.
And when you slide one of them in there, you went, wow, you can't help but notice. But they expect you to go in there and buy 1, maybe 2.
Of course.
Well, you stick that one with 4 other ones, you notice.
Of course.
Wow, it was crazy.
It is. No, that's great. That's funny. And it definitely does tie into that sort of situation. Well, anyways, if any of the listeners at home have anything they want to tell us about, or as far as this topic, or if you've noticed anything about, I recently
shrinkflation.
I recently went to a fast food restaurant, and I got the sign that says that there's no more new pennies. So, I got the whole sign that was like, we may not have a new pennies, but we can accept them, but we're not going to give any. Anyway, so I was like, oh my gosh. So if you have any of those experiences, we have comment sections on Spotify and YouTube where you can tell us your experiences, or we also have the email address, getoffendedtogether@gmail.com, where you can leave long-form responses.
Of which I'm sure I offended a few people today.
There you go, maybe. That's okay. And until next week, thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone, and God bless.
Imagine 15 years of perfect uptime. Then one day, one bad day, everything stops. No banking, no logistics, no emergency coordination, no GPS timing, and no cloud memory to tell us what we used to know. That's not a movie plot. That's what happens when a civilization builds itself on uninterrupted computation. The uncomfortable truth is, resilience used to be cultural. Now it's technical. If we don't design for failure, failure will design the lesson for all of us. Thanks for joining us today. You're the best. Peace.